to get these, the F word for gay people, you know, the other word for a cigarette in the UK. What can we get these cigarette words to buy our product? Is a verbatim quote from the CEO. That's what he said. And you know, if you know nothing about me and you see that video, I actually said the word because I am a homosexual and I can own that word. Then you might not you might not realize I'm homosexual, and two, you might not realize the context for which I'm using it is that I am quoting a CEO and trying to warn the LGBTQ community that this blatant commercial endorsement of Pride event is done like sort of like it's not about being progressive, it's about appealing or trying to get us to spend, like, we're just walking pocketbooks. They don't care about our rights or anything. What they care about is whether or not you spend money on their product. And it's like, if they're talking about us like that, don't buy their product. That's trash. That's one of the things that I talked about in that video. Another thing that I had talked about, and I mean no disrespect to people with various fetishes. None. I don't kink shame. Like, you know, I'm an anarchist. Do what you love and love what you do. Do whatever you want to do. As long as it doesn't hurt other people, I don't really care what you do. I think people should be free. I've nothing against the fetishes. I don't really participate in them myself, but I have nothing against them. I have participated in other people's fetishes, like it may be like a case of like, well, no, I won't let you do that to me, but if you're into that, I'll do that to you if that's what you want. But it's not something that I'm into, but I can do that for you. Also depends on the fetish too. Some things, like, I'm just not into. I don't want to. Like, I don't want to be spanked. I don't like being spanked. I don't like it. It's not pleasurable for me. It's actually quite the opposite. It's very unpleasurable. It's very uncomfortable. I don't like it. Just my personal preference. I have nothing against people that are. I have lots of friends, actually, that are into the BDSM crowd. The fetisha crowd. How can you not be friends with somebody in the fetisha crowd and be a goth punk? It's impossible. Trust me. But like, as the Pride events kept rolling out, they kept showcasing all these fetish things, and it didn't feel like gay pride anymore. It felt like fetish pride, which is fine. If you want to create a fetish pride, I think that that's a cool idea, because that's not something that just pertains to homosexuals or LGBTQ people. That's something that pertains to everybody. Like, even heterosexuals do fetish stuff. So, like, having a fetish pride parade, well, that would be really cool. You're talking about something that is very, very inclusive and very, very diversified of the LGBTQ community and the straight community, both, that participate in these fetishes. But gay pride is based off of something that actually happened. It's the fight for LGBTQ rights of equality, and being treated like human beings and not having our human rights violated by throwing us in jail, or you know, like, hurting us. What LGBTQ people do, it's informed consensual and adults. You know, there's no victim here. I mean, you know, you can't make an argument that LGBTQ people should be criminal. You can't be done. Even if any of it were a choice, I'd still make the argument of, like, it's not hurting anybody, so why do you care? So, I was saying in the video that it doesn't feel like Pride is about the Stonewall incident and the many generations of LGBTQ people that have fought with sweat and blood and life for the civil liberties and freedoms that we have today. And that it was more geared and focused towards these fetishes that people had. And it's like, well, what about all the activism that's taken place within the LGBTQ community over the years? What about that? Like, where do we celebrate that? And it just, it doesn't feel very inclusive when they're like, you have to be a part of a fetish, you have to fit into this mold, you have to fit into one of these categories and one of these boxes, and if you don't, then you're ostracized. And some of the people they're ostracizing are some of the biggest, baddest, most hardcore LGBTQ activists. And I'm just simply saying, like, I think the LGBTQ community, when it comes to Pride, the Pride event, maybe it should stop being so, like, whatever's in vogue, fashionable, mainstream, popular, and more focused on actually being more inclusive and including LGBTQ people that don't fit into these boxes and categories. Yeah, I mean, that would actually be inclusive. I can see where if somebody didn't know me that they would watch that video and get the wrong idea. I can. But let me reiterate this to you. Let me make this very, very, very clear. I want people and encourage them to be themselves and not let other people define who you are for you. You know, your brain does this wonderful job at deciding, like, who you are based on your likes, your dislikes. You know, that's why I gravitate towards gothic stuff, and like I've even now goth is becoming like trendy and fad like, and a lot of the fad like goths that are out there, like one of them on one of these videos was commenting, they're like, your eyeliner makeup is cheap and crappy, it doesn't look very good. They said you're either obese or borderline obese. No, I'm actually only 10 pounds overweight at this point, but, you know, I'm getting older. My metabolism is slowing down, and I'm not as active as I used to be because of this condition. If I want to run, if I want to go for a run, like a jog or a walk, I have to duct tape my arm to my body or ace bandage it to harness it to my body to keep it stationary. Otherwise, the bouncing up and down will set me into a flare-up. I can't. I have to stationary it to my body. So that probably contributes. And as eating habits, like if I told you my calorie count per day, you'd probably be like, how on earth are you alive? And then it's like, how are you alive, let alone gaining weight? I mean, there are days where I only consume like 350 calories in one day. I only eat once a day. Yeah, I don't know why I gain weight. I don't know. But I'd hardly say I'm even borderline obese. I'm about 10 pounds overweight, but I'm not going to pretend that 10 pounds overweight is borderline obese. I'm not like almost 200 pounds. Sorry. What else did they say? They said that my shirt was messy, and I'm like, I asked this person, I said, do you know what a gutter punk is? Do you know what a crust punk is? Like, like, I'm not running a fashion show here. I'm anti-fashion. Like, this is weird. Like, why are you, like, my makeup isn't supposed to look good. I'm not trying to look, like, pretty. I'm not trying to make it look like a work of art. Well, I mean, it is in a sense, but it's more like an anti-fashion statement, a statement against fashion. That's what I'm going for. I want to look like I found all my clothes in the trash. That's the point. That's the purpose. You know, I've made a video about one's called like a very gothic makeup tutorial. Another one's called Trash Angel. You know, this is not a fashion thing for me. This is a state of mind. It's a lifestyle. I like being very bohemian, very rustic. But anyway, I encourage people to. I really do. I go out of my way to encourage people. Be yourself. Don't let people define who you are for you. You know, if people are going to be judgmental, screw them. Screw them. I can't say that. F them. I don't want to get another strike. Feel like I'm walking on eggshells now. It's like I have no idea how this is going to be interpreted. So I want to make it very, very clear. Like, I want you to be yourself. I want you to be strange. I want you to be bizarre. I want you to think outside of the box. I want people to not fit under labels and categories and yeah, be yourself. Be strange. Be undefined. Be weird. Be yourself. I encourage that through and through. And yeah. So I wasn't trying to dog on people with fetishes. Definitely not dog on LGBTQ people who have been fighting for the rights of for a long time, since before YouTube was even a thing, and have put myself into some scary situations. So, you know, that kind of hurt, being accused of that, being accused of hate speech towards my own community that I've worked very, very hard to advocate for over the years. That kind of hurts. It's like, I think I've been very misunderstood here. But being that I have such a small channel, I can't fight this. If I appeal it, you know what will happen? I'll get a permanent strike instead of a temporary one. And I know that because I've tried that before. I did a video on the January 6th insurrection thing, where I went through the social media profiles of the people who participated. And this was messed up, because YouTube took that down as, what was it? What did they say it was? It was, Yeah, there's several videos that have been age restricted that I didn't age restrict myself. There are videos I have age restricted myself, but there's several videos that have been age restricted that I did not do that. There's a video, I didn't do this either. It's private and locked. Basically making a eulogy, expressing sort of the sadness and the sorrow that I felt towards what happened in New Zealand. I'm not going to say any more than that because I don't want it to happen to this video either. But like that was messed up. What happened? Like a lot of innocent people died, and even the cover is just R.I.P. and I'm wearing things that you might see somebody in this like Victorian era like wear at a funeral, and basically it was like to the family and friends, the people who loved the loved ones of those who had lost their lives, like I'm so sorry you had to go through this, and this is locked and made private by YouTube. I didn't do that. It says terms and policies next to it. I don't know why. See, that's another video. That sucks that this video got taken down. As there was this guy that was Big Yeti was his name. He was saying homosexuality is schizophrenia. Made a video, no, and that's been taken down, even though that video was received very, very, very well. Then here's one that was age restricted. I didn't age restrict this. YouTube did. It was a debate I had with an ethno-nationalist, debunking that. Well, I guess at least it's age restricted and not taken down. People do need arguments against that. Misinformation. That's what it was. What was messed up about that is the stuff that I said in that video. I talked about things that had already been published in mainstream media. And that's really all I was doing, was going over what mainstream media had already reported. And I was not condoning this at all. And I fail to see how it can be misinformation when I was going through various news articles from mainstream news outlets, and there's the social media profiles that they were showing of these people that did this, and I think it was pretty benign, pretty casual video, and there were other content creators that have much bigger channels than me that went over similar things, other leftist YouTubers that went over similar things with bigger channels. They still have their videos up. Mine's been taken down for misinformation, even though it's been verified that what I said in that video about the people who did that been verified by mainstream media and other bigger content creators on YouTube to be the case. but my video on it has been taken down for misinformation. And I appealed it because I literally just showing what mainstream media is saying, and just going, okay, this, like, CNN says this, MSNBC says this. I can't remember what other news sites I went over. It was a bunch of different ones, because it just happened. It's like, wow, this is crazy. Let's talk about it. And so I was just saying, okay, this media site says this media site says this media site says this media site says this. Wow, this is wild. This is wild. This is weird stuff. Oh, look at all their social media accounts. That's wild. Like, they got a lot of dog whistles here, and that got taken down for misinformation. And then there's all these bigger channels that are saying the exact same thing I was. They still have their videos up to this day, and the things that I was showing were coming from where you would get not misinformation, like actual facts. So I don't know why that got taken down for misinformation. So I guess I have to walk on eggshells, and I have to be extra careful. And if it's, because I don't know if it's the YouTube algorithm or if it's somebody who just really hates me that's going around. If it's somebody that really hates me, if you're watching this, please just leave just don't watch. Or if you really have that much of a problem, reach out to me. I'm a pretty reasonable, like, laid-back person. I'm open to new ideas. I'm open to learning and growing. But I am not going to endorse bad things. Like, I don't endorse crony capitalism. I don't. I am a leftist. I am very, very critical of capitalism. If I could have my way, I would move to an island that's unassociated with any society or any government, because this is what I'm not a fan of the system. I don't enjoy being told what to think, how to feel, what to say it, how to dress, how to act, how to walk, how to talk. If you follow all of these guidelines, by the time it's said and done, you're basically, like, I'd basically be putting on a 24/7 act. And who I am, like who I actually am, would be buried so far beneath all the stuff that I'm told to be, that, like, I'd be dying inside, like, it would be so antithetical to who I am as an individual. So, like, I would love to live outside of a society or a system that tells me who and what I'm supposed to be. Just go to an island away from any society or government and grow my fruits and vegetables and like, I wouldn't make any deep imprint in this life, but I think I'd die a happy person. And I used to think, if I did, I'd grow lots of different drugs and stuff to have fun. But I started thinking, like, I probably wouldn't feel the need to do that if I could just be myself without, like, a group of very concerned individuals that think it's their duty to project their own dispositions onto everyone else and think, well, I know what's best for you. You have to live the way that I tell you to. These little moral authoritarian busybodies regardless what side of the aisle. Like I said, I don't appreciate authoritarianism whatsoever. The only authoritarianism that I preach within the system that I live in is control and regulations or restrictions on capitalism to prevent crony capitalism. I advocate for a mixed economy of free market capitalism and socialism, and I think the socialism in this country is really, really bad because it's been defunded so much and red taped, and it hasn't been really given the opportunity to grow and do what it's supposed to do that we all benefit from. Things like, the SSA for retirement, disability, Medicaid and Medicare, the VA, public schooling, public roads, and then I sit there and look at a chart from it came from a .gov or edu site, but it showed how taxes are divvied between the social programs that we have. 70% of our taxes go to the industrial military complex. And I did the math myself one day and found out that if we took 20%, just 20% of what we spend on the industrial military complex and divvied it out to, let's say, the SSA, it would have more money than it would know what to do with. And this is something that foster care desperately needs. And even if we took that 20% out of what we spend on the industrial military complex, as it stands now, we spend more than the next top 5 countries combined. Even if we took that 20% out, we'd still be spending more than the next top 3 countries combined. We'd still be spending more. We'd still be a military powerhouse, spending more than the next top 3 countries combined on our military just by taking 20% and divvying that out to foster care, public education, and I really think foster care, the VA, and the SSA need desperate help. I've learned that becoming disabled and a chronic pain patient. Oh my God, it's bad. It's really bad. But I'm anti-corporatist, anti-uniformity, anti-conformity, anti-establishment. There's really, I used to say at the end of every video, support the idea of choice is not one's ability to impose one's will on others against their own will. There's really only 5 things that I'm really truly against: murder, rape, molestation, physical violence, altercation, abuse. No need for it. You tried making an argument for self-defense, and I would agree with you. Yeah, self-defense, that's the only way I can rationalize violence is in self-defense. But self-defense is not aggravated assault or abuse or domestic abuse. It's not the same thing. And the sort of misdemeanor down here, the one that I think that you could have, that you could make retributions and make right, is theft and property damage. Anything else, as far as I'm concerned, as long as it doesn't impinge on others or hurt other people, you can do whatever you want. Freedom. Absolutely, promote ridiculous amounts of freedom for the civilians to the individual. The only thing that I'm an authoritarian in is I support authoritarianism to prevent authoritarianism. No, you don't have the right to impose your will on others against their will, which goes to 5. Regulations on capitalism to prevent exploitation. I'm going to stop part 2 here, so that completes part 2. I'll be uploading part 3 as soon as possible, and there probably will be another one after part 3.